Let's take a look at a trading journal from a crypto trader, and he asked us to go through his journal and let him know what we think and how he can move on from here. So let's dive into the data. We can see 66 trades, which is solid, a 42% win rate with a 1.66 reward to risk ratio, and that results in a 1.94 profit factor, which is excellent. And of course, when we look closer in his equity graph, he is making money. He struggled around break even for, let's say, maybe 25, 26 trades. But since then, things improved significantly. Of course, when you look at a performance like this, the first thought could be just keep doing what you're doing. It seems to work clearly, but I'm sure we can find out more. So let's go through his journal. The first thing that we can do here is go to the setups. And he has a variety of setups. All of them are performing profitably. When we look here at the SFP, swing failure pattern, only 3 trades on the short scalp, 1 trade, Ishimoku 5 trades, 5 trades here, and then 51 trades. So that seems to be his main setup. The sample size on those are all a bit low. So my recommendation, keep trading them until you have a better sample size. Right now, I would not make any changes based on such a low sample size, but we can definitely keep analyzing the round retest. Since all of them perform profitably, we have to find out if there is room for even more improvement because, well, it looks good at first glance, but typically when you dig deeper, you can often find something. Unfortunately, the trader does not have a checklist set up. So here you can see there is no data. We would highly recommend to set up a objective checklist that also forces you to sit down and think about your setups. What makes a good setup? What are the criteria that need to be present? It helps you to also be a little bit more objective about your trades, which is going to help later when you want to find out what are the screws that you can turn and how to improve it. He does have a custom statistic here where he is grading the trades. And we reached out to the trader to ask about his grading approach. And he said that is not 100% objective. There are a lot of intuitive criteria, but he agrees that a more quantitative and a more objective approach would definitely help. And we totally agree here. Although grading is a very good start, and you can definitely see that A and B grade trades perform well. He also said there's a little bit of hindsight bias probably here. So again, this is where your checklist comes in. Think about the criteria and the signals that you need to have present when you're entering a trade. Tick them off, and then you can very quickly see what are the criteria that are actually contributing, which are not really working, which do you have to have present when you're taking a trade, and which are a little bit more optional. There are videos on our YouTube channel on how we explain how to set this up. It's actually super simple. You go to settings, setups, you just switch here to checklist, and then here you give it a name, you add a new checklist, and then you can assign it to a setup that you're trading. Let's go back here. Let's just examine here the setup rounded retest. And what we can see, yeah, nothing has changed. Grade B and grade B plus trades perform well. He doesn't have a grade A trade on those types of setups. So it would be really interesting to see what makes a trade a grade C and a grade D trade. What are the criteria that are different between those two? And that will help him later to really fine-tune his approach and avoid those trades where he doesn't have an edge. Although you can see sample size for the most part fairly low. Here's a decent amount of trades, but over time, this will become really, really helpful because at this stage of the trader, when he is profitable and his setup is making money, he wants to find out what are the good and medium quality trades so that he can avoid some of the trades and just filter out some noise. Let's keep going. Let's go to his instruments next. This is also really interesting. You can see he's trading a lot of different coins, but clearly Bitcoin stands out. Also a very good sample size, 35 trades. When we look here, you can see 54% win rate, much higher than his average 42% win rate that we saw in the beginning. Yeah, looks very, very good. And then when you look here to the right, you can see the altcoins are not performing, although again, sample size is fairly low. One suggestion that we made to the trader is that he could eliminate a lot of noise by just focusing on Bitcoin. It doesn't have to be that from now on he's only trading Bitcoin, but it could be an idea of see how it feels when you're only trading Bitcoin. Also, there is another major benefit because you could start tracking more market variables when you're only focusing on one pair or one instrument. And that will help you, again, get a much better understanding of what works, what isn't working, what makes a good trade, what are variables that don't favor your system. And by focusing on just one or maybe two instruments, you can spend more time on those types of trades because you don't have to journal everything else, and that will help you significantly in the future. So one major suggestion here also to look into this. What we can do also is look here into the risk distribution. It looks good. It's a little bit here very broad. Typically what you want to see is that your negative, the red bars, are clustered around one area to just signal that this is your average position size. If you have a lot of different sized losses, it means typically that your position size is not really that structured. And especially this one here stands out. There's a significant loss here. We need to find out why this is. And you can very easily follow here the data, right? So we open the filter and we have here the return. We want to find this trade, which we got here with this selection. Then you can simply go to your journal and find the trade. He does have a note as well here, which I'm not going to pull up just because there might be some personal notes in here. But if you write notes about the trade, you can really nicely then later see what went through your head, what were you thinking at the time, what caused this big loss. You can see minus 8.47% loss on that trade. And then you can see what goes on and why is this such a big loser. So maybe another tip for this trader in the future to think about position sizing a little bit more so that he has a little bit more of a consistent position sizing approach. Another thing that I want to look at here is the performance by time. Interestingly, Friday isn't performing for him at all for whatever reason. Yeah, it's only 8 trades and it's barely losing proposition, but you can see it is negative, a little bit too early to tell. Just keep an eye on it and think about what is going on in your daily life, Thursday nights or Fridays in general that could cause here the deviation. What you could do as well is filter for those trades, right? So we can open the filter and we only want to look at Friday trades. And that way you can really nicely follow the money, right? So to speak, we open here the settings. We only want to have those types of trades. So that matches now the bar. Again, you can pull up your journal. You can look at what went wrong here. You can see for the most part, we have a lot of Bitcoin trades. We have 2 larger outliers, but not too large. You could look at your custom statistics. Grade D trade here, 1, 4 trades here. Again, not a big sample size, but this is a good use case on how you can start following your money throughout your journal and then find out what went wrong here, what is going on. The rounded retest was not performing on Fridays. What you can also do, go to your trade comments. You can see one trade was flagged as broke the rules. So again, small sample size, not really meaningful, but it's just a way of how you can start looking behind the data points of those graphs, right? Very, very helpful. Trade management looks solid, right? Actual performance and potential performance are currently meeting. As long as the actual performance is above potential performance, it's good. As soon as your potential performance goes above your actual performance, you will see that this will get flagged in red because it shows potentially you could have made more money. In this case, it's in this scenario, it's not the case yet. But what you can also do is whenever you see this line, this shows you the management effect, right? The bright green line. Whenever this one is going down, you can click on it and it will bring up the trade. You can scroll down and there are some notes. Again, I'm not going to reveal them here, but it's just showing you that this is how you can then learn more about your data. The data looking at this can be a little bit more abstract sometimes, but once you start looking into the actual trades, your thoughts that you have written here in the notes, that can be really, really helpful as well. So for now, looks all right. Just keep an eye on it if this becomes an issue. Once this gets flagged in red, you want to definitely be mindful and look into your trade management approach. Another thing that I find quite interesting is when we go to the calendar, you can see he traded January, February this year, and then last year he had some trades in summer, but then it really picked up around November and December. So those are probably the trades where the equity graph are going flat, and then here's where things picked up. And I find this quite interesting because when you think about it, when you remember in summer 2025, you had this massive bull run in Bitcoin. And then end of the year, the decline started and we entered a bearish market. So it seemed like that during the bull market, he mostly went sideways here. Remember what we saw in the equity graph? The first few trades went sideways and then it picked up. So it could be that this system is favoring more either a bearish market, maybe he's taking more short trades, or he's benefiting from this larger momentum and more volatility. Again, you don't notice if you don't track the data, so I highly recommend that you would start getting into the market variables. One thing that you can also do in this context is go to your reports, open the trade analytics, look for direction, and what we can then do is see for the long and the short trades. So it's really interesting to see here. If we want to go even more advanced, let's maybe just filter for dates. And he started November, right? So November until today. That's what we have. What we can see is that he is trading way more shorts. The win rate is almost exactly the same. The average P&L is the same. So he is finding more shorts, which obviously makes sense, but the longs are still working in this market. And just a very interesting observation here. And once you understand the markets that you are trading and the markets that are present at that time, you can really very nicely connect the market types to your setups, to your quality of trades, to your expectancy, and see what type of markets favor your system. I would highly recommend to just set up some custom statistics. Setups, very simple, custom statistics. He does have a lot of space here. Just dedicate one custom statistic to a market variable and think about what you can start tracking here. That then gives you more insights about the market state and the type of trades that you're looking for. Maybe also setting up a custom stat that is strategy specific. I already mentioned the checklist, which is good, but also maybe because you are trading swing failure patterns, rounded retests, you could start tracking what type of level you are trading. You could start tracking the time frames that you are using. Those will be all quite interesting. Also, the type of retest that you are seeing, that would all be very, very helpful probably later down the road once you have a good sample size. So a very decent journal, good performance. There's a lot of room for improvement, I think, here, which is good. You always want to see that there's more that you can do that is going to help your edge. And it's really interesting then to just follow your data and see what the data tells you about your journal.